from Kern Government Television. Welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxton Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy. And our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Here we go. Okay, board to reconvene. Welcome and good evening, Kern County. Welcome to the July 28th budget evening hearing that we have every year to receive input from the community in a time that we don't ordinarily have board session. This is the time we designate annually to receive public input on the budget process. The budget process is not final. We are still receiving input, and of course, staff is looking for direction from the board and also input from the community. So tonight is very important. Thank you for being here and offering your input and insight regarding our budget process. We will begin by a roll call. Madam Clerk.
Supervisor Peters.
Here.
Supervisor Parlier.
Here.
Now my mic's working. Supervisor Flores.
Here.
Supervisor Couch.
Here.
Supervisor Perez.
Here, thank you. This evening's salute to our glorious flag will be led by our illustrious Supervisor, Jeff Flores. Thank you. At the remainder of our flag salute, please remain standing for a moment of prayer, silence, or meditation, whichever you prefer. Thank you.
Thank you. Please stand. Ready, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have an interpreter this evening providing translation of these proceedings for anyone in the board chambers desiring to hear the meeting in Spanish. Mr. Fernando Lopez, who you see approaching the podium at this time, is coming down to the podium to provide information to our Spanish-speaking audience.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches. Atrás en la mesa me llamo Fernando López. El condado de Kern me contrató para interpretar esta reunión. Atrás, para los que no tienen los audífonos, los pueden recoger si los necesitan. Gracias.
Thank you very much. This is a special board meeting. Again, I mentioned earlier, this is the time designated for the year where we have an evening session. Our board sessions are normally during the day. Like tomorrow, we'll have our regular board meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning. But tonight is designated specially for members of the public who work during the day, are not able to provide input during the regular business hours tomorrow. So this is a special meeting. It is only for the budget. But of course, there's always opportunity, per the Brown Act, to provide public comment to this body on matters that are not on tonight's agenda, so not budget-related issues, but are within the jurisdiction of the Kern County Board of Supervisors. We're required to always provide that opportunity, and of course, we look forward to hearing your input. So now, under public presentations and item number 1, this is an opportunity to come to this board and address issues that are of concern to you. On matters that are within our jurisdiction but are not on today's agenda. We simply ask that you try to please honor our 2-minute time limit. I hate cutting people off. It's never comfortable, and we usually can go a little bit past 2 minutes, but I do ask your grace as we have a long presentation this evening, very critical budget matters. But this is an opportunity for the public to address this board and give us your, speak your heart to this body. Now's the time to do so. Good evening and welcome. I love your hat.
Guess I'm there. Fix Kern now, Janine Adams, Jeanine Adams, 1D. something I'll speak later, as far as the budget. But right now, I would like to speak for my community in Tehachapi and specifically my neighborhood, because we live outside of the city limits of Tehachapi in the county. And of course, Measure K was passed to provide services outside of the county. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not quite sure, the county has maybe given us more support with regard to sheriffs. But I will tell you, as a county worker, when I was a county worker, of course I'm retired now, we had to be very careful to not appear to be dawdling on county time, okay?
Of course.
So I'm very sensitive to this. And so I go to the park to walk my dog, and there's another family, and we're being surveilled by the sheriff from the high ground of the parking lot. And I did not appreciate it, quite frankly. Maybe they could help catch the guy who's tagging trees on my street. I would prefer that. Or maybe I would prefer some other services to be given to my community and not to be over-policed. I never felt scared. It's Tehachapi, come on. So that's not regarding the budget exactly. It's kind of regarding services. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome. Please state your name for the record.
Good evening. I'm Louis Gillum, and I'm a volunteer with Faith in the Valley. First, I want to express our sincerest gratitude for including the resurfacing of Valley Acres Park's basketball court in the preliminary budget as it now stands. Parks are all about cooperation, collaboration, community. The rhythmic sound of a basketball in motion, the cheers of family and friends punctuating the game, the laughter of children on swing sets in synchronized motion. These are the daily, ordinary ceremonies of parks, ceremonies of innocence. And the science supports this. One study showed that access to parks not only decreases disease and increases longevity, but that these effects are most pronounced in the most socioeconomically disadvantaged areas. Another study found that turning vacant lots into parks reduces both crime and fear, and that these effects are most pronounced in working-class neighborhoods. Yet another study showed that children who regularly play on swings, synchronized motion, learn cognitive and social skills of cooperation that stay with them through life. The very successful process that began with community surveys in Ford City 2 years ago continues. New surveys from Valley and Dustin Acres are out. We're seeing some results, and we're already seeing strong support for continued improvements there. When we look for what is sacred in the sacredness of parks, we find that it is health, it is safety, it is freedom from crime and fear, and perhaps most of all, it is cooperation and community. Thank you.
Well said, and I could not agree more. Thank you, Louis. Our parks are a sacred space. Welcome, good evening. Your name, please.
Abigail Rodela, District 2. As someone who was raised in Taft, a significant part of my life was shaped by my experiences in parks. It was at Valley Acres Park that my parents taught me the value of justice and community. They did so while being full-time students at CSUB, leading church ministries, caring for their parents, and working hard to make ends meet. At Valley Acres Park, we read books, had picnics, rode the swings, and had carne asada with my grandparents. Things have changed though. We've grown older, our pets have too, the swings are gone, and my grandfather now rests in peace. Today, the voices of my community join me in expressing gratitude for the county's potential investment of $54,000 in Valley Acres Park. We are grateful for the county's past support and look forward to continuing our partnership in improving our community. This funding is a significant step towards the much-needed improvements, especially in the basketball court area. However, another critical area of improvement that needs urgent attention is the absence of commercial adult swing sets at the park. They were removed over 5 years ago, and families in Valley Acres desperately need them. With Ford City Park still closed for construction, residents must travel farther from their community to enjoy the health benefits of swings, which poses an access and equity issue, especially for children and youth in this rural community. Our research indicates that the average cost of the commercial swing sets ranges from $8,000 to $16,000, excluding installation costs. Today, I ask that the County Board of Supervisors, especially District 2 Supervisor Parlier, consider increasing the preliminary budget amount allocated to Valley Acres Park to include the installation of an adult set swing based on guidance from General Services. This addition will not only provide a much-needed recreational facility for the community, but also promote physical activity and social interaction. Our commitment to these parks goes beyond a mere line item on a budget. It's a testament to our dedication to our community and what these parks mean to us. Parks are sacred. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Parlier, I see you're punched in.
Yes, thank you so much for those comments. So I have an upcoming meeting with General Services Parks to talk about that project, and I'm going to make sure I include the adult swing set aspect of it too. Thank you so much.
How fun. Maybe we'll go out there. Chris, you can show us how it's done right, right?
Yeah, I might break a hip now, I don't know.
I hear you. Okay, so again, this portion of the agenda right now is on matters that are not on today's agenda. Today's agenda, and we'll get started momentarily, is about the budget. So if you have issues, comments, questions about the budget, we're going to get to that in just a moment. But this public presentations portion is for members of the community. I see Paul Infesti lining up. Please come down. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. To offer input on matters not related to the budget. Paul.
I haven't been here for a while, except as a viewer maybe a couple of weeks ago or so, because I've lost my confidence in speaking. I don't have anything specifically written down. Several years ago, I came in and I expressed my disappointment in the MALDEF ruling that required David Couch to have to run for a seat after 2 years, in which he was voted in to serve for a full 4 years. I expressed that I found that regardless of political orientation, that just was not a fair thing to do. And I'm going to, the reason I bring that up is because I know there is process involved in getting this state legislature to approve the splitting of the county clerk's office from elections. And I'm just going to say that when I voted in that election, I voted for the person to fill 4 years for that entire district. I would be honest with you and feel that they kind of are taking my vote away from my 4-year vote for Amy Espinoza in that. So I'm just saying that I'm disappointed that process is going through. Maybe it will pass the legislature, maybe not, but I'll be one of the people that will hope it doesn't go through the legislature and that the full 4-year term is allowed to go deal and then work on if you want to do the split or not.
Chairman.
Thank you.
With the current, please, Supervisor Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Levinci. Thank you as my constituent, if I may opine on that also. Okay. Just your concerns are well-founded and well-regarded. And so if this bill does pass the legislature, Amy will still, our Auditor Controller, Amy Espinoza, will still fulfill that full 4-year term.
I do understand that, but she will still be.
Yes, yeah, the legislation will take effect
okay.
after.
Okay, I didn't understand that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the clarification, Supervisor Flores. Supervisor Couch. Okay, no need to. I was going to say it, but Supervisor Flores stole all our thunder.
Oh, sorry.
As usual. So thank you for the clarification. And Paul, you're right. That vote has to be protected. That is the vote of the people, the will of the people. So that has always been paramount in the conversation, I promise you. So thank you, Paul, for highlighting that. Okay, matters not related to the budget of Kern County. Okay, we are going to move forward now to our the designated agenda item for this evening. Excuse me, board member announcements or reports, forgive me. Gentlemen? Okay. We're going to then move on to our departmental requests under County Administrative Office, which is a public meeting to receive comments for fiscal year 25-26 recommended budget. And the recommended action, of course, is to receive and file, but we're going to have an opportunity to hear from the public and get your input. But at this time, we will give the floor to none other than Elsa Martinez, our expert, to lay out the budget process and the updates as to right now. Thank you. Floor is yours.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. Ms. Anderson couldn't be here tonight. She's under the weather. She hopes to feel better by tomorrow and be here at the morning meeting. But as you recall, the preliminary budget was presented to your board on June 24, and since that time, the fiscal year has ended, and the assessor has finalized the property tax roll. For this presentation, we will be providing an overview of the changes and update on federal and state impacts. Tonight, however, is an opportunity to hear from the public so comments can be taken into consideration as we progress through the budget development cycle. I am joined today by Budget Director Alex Alba and Senior Budget Analyst Joseph Arriola. I want to begin tonight's presentation by reminding the public about the timeline of the county budget process. This is not the only opportunity to comment on the budget. We began the budget process March 11. Actually, we begin the budget process even before that. We begin in mid-January after evaluating the mid-year results of the current year, the impacts of the assessed valuation, the first estimate the assessor provides to our office, and we also consider the state budget in January. We then prepare what is called the budget guideline. It is an incremental budget approach. This is the most common method used by governmental agencies. This approach allows your board to see the increases and reductions made to each budget. After your board approves the guideline in early March, departments prepare and submit to our office their requested budget allocation. After working with departments for several weeks, in June, we present the preliminary budget. On June 24th, we presented the budget, and this budget has been available to the public on the county website since that date. Tonight, we are here to provide your board with an update to that preliminary budget for the general and fire funds, including the closing fund balance, also known as carry forward from June 30th, and the finally property tax revenue estimates based on the assessor's final assessment roll. It is also an opportunity for the public to provide additional comments and to get direction of any budget revisions before the budget is finalized for budget hearings in August. After tomorrow's presentation, we will rebalance the budget and make adjustment to the preliminary budget based on critical needs and your board's priorities and direction. Our goal is to align one-time resources, such as fund balance, with one-time costs, and ongoing resources such as property tax with operational costs. So, the big picture. As we continue to adjust the county's budget, revenue forecasting remains critical, yet very complex. While we strive for precision, our projections are based on best available data. As presented in the June budget meeting, we are not projecting a decline in overall revenue for 25-26, but we do anticipate minimal growth, with revenue expected to remain largely flat. This reflects the economic climate, while continues to be shaped by federal spending reductions and other labor market disruptions. California's economic position remains strong, but not without challenges. In response to the state's budget deficit, the May revision did not draw on the rainy fund. Instead, the state administration opted for a broad, multi-phase approach to bridge the gap, employing budget reductions, borrowing from special funds, and shifting allocations from their general fund to other sources. However, because the budget was approved in late June, it did not reflect the fiscal impact of the One Big Beautiful Bill, signed into law July 4th. The legislation introduces significant cost shift to states and counties, particularly in Medicaid and indigent care, uncompensated health care, and SNAP administration and benefit matching. We are actively working with departments to assess the local implications and will return to the board with necessary adjustments. So based on this uncertainty, our fiscal approach continues to prioritize financial management and the preservation of essential services through the strategic long-term planning, efficient resource allocation, and your board's continued support The adjustments that we will be presenting today demonstrate the commitment to public well through targeted investments in critical areas. In response to public feedback and your board's directions, we are proposing increases in funding to county graffiti abatement program, some park improvements, but we are concentrated on preservation of infrastructure and service. Even in challenging times, we are not compromising our community standards or safety. The proposed adjustments that will be presented today reflect the shared priorities of your board and the public. I will now turn the presentation to Budget Director Alex Alba to go over the changes from the preliminary budget.
Thank you, Elsa. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the board.
Welcome.
Displayed on this slide in millions is a preliminary recommended budget for fiscal year 25-26, which totals $4.01 billion, a reduction of approximately $70.7 million compared to the fiscal year 24-25 adopted budget. The majority of the decrease is associated with the spend down of the American Rescue Plan Act, also known as ARPA, reductions in Public Safety Realignment Carry Forward, and declines in available Mental Health Services Act funding. Within the general fund, appropriations are decreasing by $37.8 million. This is primarily due to the spending down of prior year allocation of the fentanyl misuse and overdose task force funding secured in fiscal year 2023. Reductions in one-time expenditures of public safety equipment, reductions in one-time retirement costs, and reductions in state and federal funding for public health. However, these reductions are partially offset by increases in general liability and workers' compensation costs. Other operating departments are also currently evaluating changes to the preliminary recommended budget. With the recent passage of H.R. 1, One Big Beautiful Bill, departments are actively working to assess the local impacts, and we will return to your board with any necessary adjustments. Similar to the general fund, the fire fund is also reviewing increases in property tax revenue and carry forward balances for capital and apparatus replacement needs. The Kern County Assessor has finalized the tax roll with the total assessed valuation of $129 billion. The final numbers reflect an overall increase of 2.57%, or 0.89% more than our original estimate in February. Despite a slowdown in the real estate market, primarily due to higher interest rate, residential and commercial properties experienced a 4.3% increase, while oil and gas properties experienced a 12.32% decline. Again, oil and gas valuations declined by 12.32%, following a 21% decline in fiscal year 24-25. After the additional 12.32% decline in the assessed value of oil and gas properties this fiscal year, the overall decline is now at 64.37% since 2014. For fiscal year 25-26, oil and gas assessed value represents only 9% of the total. While recent revisions to Title 19, Kern County Zoning Ordinance Code 2025A may result in increased production, the result would not be known until fiscal year 26-27. In total, the changes in property tax have resulted in an increase of $2.5 million. Once we add the additional estimated increase in revenue for solar projects, the overall increase to discretionary revenue is $6 million from the preliminary budget. The carry forward was estimated at $51 million. Keep in mind the auditor controller is still finalizing this number, and until the audit is complete in December, this number will not be final. However, the number right now is $51 million in carry forward. The carry forward is primarily the result of one-time sales tax, higher interest earning, and increases in one-time franchise fees. The additional discretionary revenue added with the $51 million in net fund balance carry forward totals $57.1 million in additional available resources. These resources will be presented today to fund one-time projects and additional ongoing costs for vital services. Again, in total, overall changes in property taxes and estimated fees for solar projects have resulted in additional $6 million in discretionary revenue budget compared to the preliminary estimate. The additional discretionary revenue added with the $51 million totals $57.1 million in additional available resources. Additionally, a net fund carry forward balance of $20.2 million is estimated for Measure K as a result of one-time sales tax increases. In accordance with Kern County Policy and Procedure Manual, Chapter 8, carry forward fund balances and other one-time funding sources will be used to fund one-time expenses, including but not limited to capital expenditures. One-time funds will not be used to finance ongoing operational costs. Ongoing expenses will be funded with ongoing revenue. The Measure K recommended allocations that will be presented today are consistent with the community priorities and needs. On this slide, you see the recommended adjustments for ongoing and one-time. To the left, you see the $1.5 million that is being recommended for increases to the county-managed graffiti abatement program. On the next line, you'll see the $300,000 to the Indigent Defense Program for a 4% increase in conflict cases due in part to Prop 36. Lastly, $4 million is recommended for the Sheriff's Coroner's Office salaries and benefit increases. Your board has continued to support the Sheriff's Office efforts to fill vacant positions to ensure resources are available throughout the county. The previous attrition level at the Sheriff's Office has stabilized, and previous salary savings are no longer available, requiring $4 million to ensure sufficient appropriations are available to cover the cost of additional staff. From one-time funds, $3.2 million is being recommended to replace aging and high-mileage sheriff patrol vehicles. $190,000 is proposed to support targeted infrastructure. Of this amount, $110,000 specifically for elections, and $80,000 is recommended to implement a customized legislative tracking system. Additionally, $1 million is being requested to be reserved in contingencies for election-related expenditures that may exceed budget allocations with the upcoming elections. $4.6 million is recommended for health benefit and payroll system updates. In fiscal year 25-26, the county will continue the phased implementation of the new enterprise resource planning system, designed to replace the existing legacy platforms used for financial management and payroll processing. To support this critical modernization, an allocation of $4.6 million is necessary to update our benefit system and facilitate broader upgrades to aging systems that no longer meet operational demands. $295,000 is recommended to cover one-time financial responsibilities resulting from employee retirements in the planning department. $1.7 million is recommended to accommodate rising insurance premium costs. This increase is essential to ensure the continuation of current coverage levels across the county. A proposed allocation of $21.9 million is recommended to support major maintenance and capital projects for fiscal year 25-26. This investment supports the county's strategic efforts to maintain and enhance critical infrastructure, ensuring long-term operational reliability and public service delivery. The General Services Division has prioritized a range of necessary projects, focusing on projects required to comply with statutory, regulatory, and other legally binding mandates. In addition, $1.5 million is recommended to fund discretionary maintenance projects in each of the supervisorial districts. Finally, in response to the ongoing rise in general liability claims, especially within the public safety departments, a $17 million increase in the general liability designation is being proposed. The escalation in claims presents a significant financial risk that could exhaust reserve funds and further strain departments' insurance costs. By increasing the designation, the county will be better prepared to manage increasing premium expenses, protect departmental budgets from volatility, and mitigate the financial impact of unforeseen claims. As mentioned on the previous slide, a total of $21.9 million is recommended to support a wide range of major maintenance and capital projects. While the department is working on many different exciting projects that will be discussed in more detail in the August meeting, These projects are designed to enhance building safety, modernize infrastructure, and correct critical structure issues. Many of the improvements aim to reduce health and safety risks by addressing hazardous conditions, environmental concerns, and other operational inefficiencies. Legally required projects of $2.2 million include solar system maintenance and repairs, ADA compliance upgrades, and the Buena Vista gas pump replacements. Preventative maintenance and reconstruction projects of $5 million include roof rehabilitation projects, paving enhancements, and other asset life extension projects. Utility and major systems repairs totaling $12.9 million include HVAC system upgrades, generator replacement, and elevator improvements and replacements. Lastly, $1.9 million is recommended for the design cost for several roof repairs throughout the county. I would now like to turn it over to Senior Fiscal and Policy Analyst Joseph Ariola to go over Measure K and the Fire Fund.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Board of Supervisors. The Kern County Administrative Office estimates $20.2 million net carry-forward balance in Measure K funds for fiscal year 25-26. Of this amount, $2.2 million is recommended for one-time park improvement projects, which will support the resurfacing and upgrades to sport courts to improve playability and durability, renovations to aging restroom facilities, installation of new inclusive playground equipment designed for a wider range of ages and abilities. The remaining $18.1 million is recommended to be placed in the Measure K Fiscal Stability Reserve. These one-time funds are primarily the result of jurisdictional sales tax corrections and large one-time solar project revenues, which cannot be expected to reoccur. Maintaining a healthy reserve is prudent given the volatility of sales tax revenue. While recent years have seen growth, the county now anticipates flat or declining sales tax collections, driven by factors such as inflation, relatively high interest rates, increased consumer debt levels, and changing spending patterns. The Fire Fund's property tax revenue estimate has increased by $700,000 compared to the preliminary budget. Combined with the $22.6 million carry forward fund balance, the department has $23.3 million in available resources for fiscal year 25-26. Of this, approximately $14 million is allocated to address capital and equipment replacement backlogs, including $11.1 million for fire truck and engine replacement and outfitting, dispatch system upgrades, radios, helicopter expenses, and personal protective equipment. $4 million for critical support needs, including recruitment equipment, pilot training, and a new hangar at Meadows Field. Taking over with federal and state impacts, I'm handing the presentation back to Ms. Elsa Martinez.
Thank you.
So we want to provide your board an update. If you remember during the presentation we did in May, Director of Public Health informed your board that and the public that the California Department of Public Health had received notification from the federal government that about a stop work order. This order was effective March 23rd, and this impacted multiple CDC funding streams. This order has direct and immediate impacts on public health services. The department identified $10.5 million in revenue losses. In addition, $2 million in already obligated but unreimbursed funds were incurred and are not likely to be reimbursed to the county. An additional $2.2 million was also impacted, and this is the future of public health. This is through the state budget, and this is also a reduction in revenue. Regarding the $10.5 million in revenue loss, while California and other states have filed a lawsuit challenging the federal action, the litigation may be lengthy and could include appeal review. In the meantime, your board will be considering a hearing tomorrow to review the actions taken by the department to mitigate the revenue losses and to determine the next steps regarding potential reduction in services and staffing. In addition, under H.R. 1, the SNAP Ed program, the educational arm of SNAP, also known as CalFresh in California, has been eliminated. This program helps low-income individuals stretch their food budgets, adopt healthier diets, and reduce long-term chronic diseases. Federal funding for SNAP Ed will cease September 30th, 2025. At this time, the immediate impacts on local programs operations remain uncertain because much will depend on how the USDA implements the new law and whether carry-forward funds will be available to states. So we will be actively working with the department and will bring the necessary actions or recommendations to your board for consideration. There's other changes happening at the federal level, in addition to the ones that we just discussed. We have the tax-exempt municipal bonds. This is good news. Despite early proposals to eliminate their tax-exempt status, H.R. 1 prevented this important financing tool for counties. Tax-exempt municipal bonds remain a vital source for local government funding to fund public infrastructure. As previously presented to your board, we are reviewing financing options, including bonds for a portion of the animal services facility. Having tax-exempt municipal bonds will allow the county to borrow funds at a lower cost. The Community Development Block Grant Funding, or CDBG, has been maintained under H.R. 1, but remains at risk under ongoing federal budget discussions. This uncertainty could present challenges to future local development and infrastructure initiatives. We anticipate more guidance in the coming months and will report to your board accordingly. You also heard about the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP or CalFresh as it's known in California. H.R. 1 includes substantial reductions in federal SNAP funding and shifts a greater share of administrative costs to states and counties. While this change will not take immediate effect, implementation is generally expected to begin in 2028. This shift may place added strain on local resources, and our Department of Human Services is already looking at what that impact will be in the future. Regarding Medicaid, the legislation also introduces significant Medicaid reforms, including funding reductions and stricter eligibility and work requirements. These changes are likely to increase the administrative burden on counties and may result in coverage losses for some residents. Federal guidance is expected in 2026, with implementation beginning in January 2027, and your Director of the Department of Human Services is again already analyzing potential local impacts to ensure that we have adequate time to prepare. And finally, the Inflation Reduction Act. The rescission of unobligated funds from the Inflation Reduction Act could limit the grant opportunities in areas as energy efficiency, clean energy, and infrastructure. As you heard during the presentation, one of the bumps we have is through solar projects, so those may be limited due to the effects of the reduction. I like this graph. I think it's one of my favorite ones because it gives you a perspective what are mandated services and how our local resources are allocated. And as you can see, one of our mandates is public protections, and your board allocates those resources accordingly. Next slide. So what are our next steps? After tomorrow, we will after receiving your board and the public direction, we will finalize our budget amendments for your board consideration August 26th when the final budget hearings will happen. So tonight, the recommended actions for your board is to receive public comment, discuss and provide direction for our staff so we can finalize the budget. This concludes our remarks, and we would be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. As I indicated earlier, tonight is our designated annual evening budget hearing, where we set aside an evening of the year so that we can receive public input. Hopefully, so members of the public who work during the day, traditional hours, have an opportunity tonight to provide input. And we're here to listen to you and to consider your concerns and the best we can incorporate them into the budget process. So thank you for being here. Now we're going to open the public hearing, a portion of this hearing, and receive your input. So now's the time. Please make your way forward. We're eager to hear from you. Please state your name for the record, and thank you for making the time this evening to be here.
Janine Adams.
Good to see you, Janine.
Thank you for bringing up, Elsa, the impacts of the One Big Beautiful Bill, H.R. 1, something that I've been talking to this board a lot about. Of course, you didn't vote on it personally, but each and every one of you have impact with your peers throughout the political sphere, if you would, okay? But the thing that I keep hearing, is the word uncertainty and prudent. Heard that a lot. And guess what, folks? We are in very uncertain times right now. There's nothing certain about what's going on right now. But you still have the responsibility to advocate for the people that elected you. Prudent. Would it maybe be prudent to not lay off people from public services like, medical services where it's very difficult to get the appropriate people hired in the first place? And who will be the people that go first with regard to layoffs that SEIU has been notified about? 35 public health nurses and various positions. You are all aware, I assume. Prudent. Is that prudent? Or is it prudent to use reserves? Reserves that are for uncertain times. This county, on the backs of their employees, have put a lot of money into reserves. Why? For times like this, that's why. And so I would ask this board that they consider what they're thinking about doing as far as laying off workers that are union workers. And my goodness, I hope that you will honor the contract, that the MOU that you went into, because I understand, and I might have a misunderstanding. Please let this be a misunderstanding, that you're not going to honor that in some way. Because I'm not Yvonne Davila, I'm Janine Adams. And you, each one of you should have your staff contact Yvonne Davila, SEIU 521. The people that are in the HR department, trust me, they know who she is. I've given you my phone number, each and every one of you, I've given my card. No one has ever called me about asking my opinion on anything, and that's why I'm here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Adams. Other members of the public will want to comment on tonight's budget process. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, everyone. So this is my first time speaking up for anything that's government related. And this is actually something that's super important to me. So my name is Omar, and I'm actually a current student at UC Berkeley, but I'm a very, very proud Kern County native. And actually
Omar, what's your last name?
Espinoza.
Thank you.
Omar Espinoza. And we just heard about the short-term impacts to public health, and the proposed budget would reduce public health funding from $51.1 million to $38.2 million. And I obviously go to Berkeley, so I'm good at math, but that's a budget cut of over 25%. And this means that it'll impact 6,100 residents, and also over 35 staff positions would be eliminated. Now, I do understand that not all of them are filled, and so only 27 actual layoffs will begin in mid-August. But these aren't really just abstract numbers. They're nurses, they're educators, and they're frontline workers who provide preventative care, community outreach, and basic health services all across Kern County. And I do understand that these cuts are mainly tied to declining state and federal fundings, but removing critical health infrastructure should not be treated as an acceptable change. I don't know if you guys are all aware, but we already rank 52nd out of 57 counties in overall health. And I come home frequently this summer, every other weekend or so, and I see the differences from my school community to my home. I have a 7-hour Amtrak ride, and I do a lot of reflecting, and every single time that I come back home, I hope to see investment in our health, our people, and in the future of the community. But instead, I continue to return to see essential services that are on the chopping block, while other expenses remain unchanged. It's disappointing and it's discouraging. It's discouraging to feel like the decisions are being made here and that they don't reflect the type of progress that I know that we're capable of. So I urge this board to take a very, very hard look at the message that this budget sends across California and what kind of Kern County that we're choosing to build. So please choose a path that centers access, care, and the long-term well-being of every single resident here in Kern County. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. My goodness, college kids look younger all the time. You see that couch? I figured you did. Okay, as I did. Thank you, Omar, for your passion and your incredible articulation. Thank you for being here this evening. Okay, please come on down. Please state your name for the record and, let us hear your heart.
Hi, good evening, members of the board. My name is Diana Mireles. I'm a community organizer with Center to Race Poverty Environment and also a president for the Comité Progreso de Lamont. Like each year, we are here to first want to thank Supervisor Couch, Mrs. Martinez, for always having those opportunities to talk to them and about the needs in each community that we support. This year, like I always said, is we're advocating on the budget for all the needs in our communities, roads, improvements, parks, lining. So the residents right here, they're going to speak on their own experience. The list that you received, previously, you received the same list, I think it was in March. So with some photos, the last time I add some photos. The photos is to, the community want to realize what are they talking about. So, and I'm not remember, you guys remember that I provide pictures last time. So, because that's where that they live, where that they are driving to work, especially on the streets. Some of them, they need lining. But I want to just thank you again to listen the community to, before the preliminary budget, to hear what's the needs, that way you can provide those monies for all these communities. And I want to let them to express what's the needs in each one, so I don't want to take too much time, so just to let them to speak. Some of them, this is the first time, so be patient, so they don't know how to handle these meetings.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Mi nombre es Sandra Ángel.
My name is Sandra Ángel.
Soy miembro del Comité para un Arvin Mejor.
I'm a member of the Committee for a Better Arvin.
Me gustaría agradecer al supervisor Couch
I would like to appreciate Supervisor Couch.
porque siempre escucha nuestros proyectos
He's always lending an ear to our projects.
y nos asesora sobre ellos.
He advises us over our projects.
Tenemos muchos años a la espera de reparar nuestras calles
We've been waiting for many years to have our streets repaired.
que se presentan en la lista que se le entregaron.
They appear on the list that was given to you.
Somos una comunidad campesina
We are a community of farm workers.
que salen muy temprano a trabajar
We leave for work very early,
y hay veces que cuando ya se viene el tiempo de neblina
and at times when it's a foggy season,
no se nota nada porque las carreteras necesitan mucha reparación.
we cannot see anything because the roads need a lot of repairs.
Pedimos que se nos ayuden en esos proyectos que están en la lista.
We request help on those projects that appear on your list.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes,
Good afternoon.
mi nombre es Ribelino Oros.
Buenas tardes.
Ribelino.
Ribelino.
Oros.
My name is Ribelino Oros.
Ajá, y vengo de la ciudad de Arvin.
I come here from the city of Arvin.
Y al igual que mi compañera, pues vengo
Like my fellow companion.
pidiendo que nos ayuden a reparar nuestras
I'm
carreteras.
here requesting help to
Porque
fix our roads.
Yo soy una de las personas que sale a trabajar desde las 4 de la mañana
I'm one of those people that leaves to work at 4 a.m.
y hay carreteras que no tienen señalamientos ni líneas.
Certain roads don't have lines, they don't have the
Entonces,
signals.
si no tiene líneas, no sabemos dónde parar.
Without the lines, you can't see where
Y pues
we're
estamos en
traveling.
riesgo de sufrir un accidente todos los que trabajamos en el campo, en las fábricas.
At risk of having an accident, all of us people that work in the farms, that work in the factories.
Y también necesitamos más más luz, más alumbrado.
We also need better lighting.
Gracias.
Thank you.
This is a very nice presentation of the asks. It's simple, it's easy to read. This is very well done. Thank you. This is very helpful. Hello, good evening.
Hi,
Welcome.
good evening, members of the board. My name is Armando Macias. First of all, I want to say thanks to David Couch. I'm a resident of Delano, down San Jose Avenue, and I've been every time there's a chance for me to come up here and speak, I usually come up here. But I just want to keep reminding you guys of the situation that we're living down in Delano, down San Jose. It's not a paved road, it's just it's a dirt road. During the rainy season, it gets really flooded. We have trouble with emergency vehicles driving through that road. I just wanted to come up here and remind you guys that we're still in need of your guys' help. And you guys did pave Lido Avenue, which is a street over from San Jose. That street is, as of right now, it's dealing with issues with flooding after it was paved. And I just want to bring it up to you guys. That way the same problem doesn't happen to San Jose if it ever gets paved. Another thing is the lighting issue out there as well. It's if we could get a little bit of light out there, it'll be nice. But that's it.
Thank you so much, Armando. Anyone else for the Supervisor Couch Love Fest this evening? There any 5th District people? Sure would love to hear from you. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. My name is Dora Hernandez Jara. I'm from La Colonia in Shafter.
Ma'am, what was your last name? Dora?
Hernandez.
Oh, thank you.
And then Jara. Jara.
Oh, Jara. Thank you.
Yes. And we brought some community members, and earlier this year we forming a nonprofit. We elected a board, and this is a brochure about our nonprofit. So a couple of our other board members are here to present for the first time. But I'm going to go over some of the information. I want to thank the county, especially David Couch, for being instrumental in improving the infrastructure in our community, especially the last amenity we have, which is a recreational area, Pocket Park, that we've been waiting to see finished all year. I don't know what the hiccup is on that, but we're hoping that all of you would join us when we have our ribbon cutting. We would like to see that come to fruition as soon as possible. One of the major complaints or concerns that I have may not be under your jurisdiction, but I've been on the AB 617 committee since its exemption 6 years ago, and there are a lot of measures that we adopted to mitigate the air contamination. And one of those is for vegetative barriers. We have not had any growers around the colony. We're surrounded on 3 sides by almond orchards. The Shafter Group was instrumental in getting DPR to pass a statewide notification system. Even though that lets us know when they're going to spray a restricted chemical, there is no way that the drift will not go into our community. A lot of our population is indigent, retired. A lot of our homes do not have central AC. We have evaporative coolers, which just suck in all the pesticide that are sprayed. It sucks in during the almond harvesting season, all the horrendous dust that comes in on all sides from the fields. So we are at a loss as to how are we going to get our growers to submit a proposal to the AB 617 to install vegetative barriers around our communities. They are not interested, and they just don't. So, Mr. Couch, I don't know, I want to implore if you, on behalf of the county, can submit a proposal to put those vegetative barriers in. We are in dire need of it. I mean, our health just continues to get worse with the respiratory cardiopulmonary diseases that we have to suffer from, especially the seniors and the children in our area. So that is one of the things that there's monies there, and AB 617. What can you do to help us? I mean, that's in dire need. And I have a petition for road improvement, and I can put it up here. And we have, the next speaker will be Nina.
Dora, you're an excellent advocate. You really are. Well done.
Hi, my name is Nina T. Richards, spelled N-I-N-A, middle initial T, last name Richards with an S at the end. I walked through the colony and I've noticed that the street lights, they're really on the old side. They're about 50 years old. I've noticed that they're cracking. I don't know if you can get an engineer out there to reevaluate to see if they need to be replaced. If so, if we can add some type of metal. I do like the lights over there. I'm not an advocate about solar. I know solar takes more time to clean and what have you. So I do like the light bulbs that are in there. Plus, I know that they also put curves out there. On the rainy seasons, the water doesn't go down because there's not a drainage system. So it does hang around driveways. I don't know if you can do anything about that right now. I do appreciate the fact when I do call into the county, they come out and they help out with whatever it is I do ask for. But at the same time, we do have a few people there that are really, really big hoarders. And that means that we got rats, cockroaches, whatever it is. And it's a fire hazard. I don't know if the county can reinforce the people that live there to try to keep that down, because I know they just go, my neighbor just keeps bringing stuff. So I don't know if you could do something about that. I also know that the neighbor down the street, I see him bringing loads of kindling in. There's no way that man is going to burn that much wood. He just has it in his yard to use it as a place to sell. I don't think that resident has a license to do that, and I don't know if the county can help in that also. Other than that, I think I am done, and I thank you much for your patience.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Malika Gonzalez, and I just want to talk about, because out there we have a lot of senior population, and we're just seeing if we could get any way to get like food boxes out there to them once a month, and the volunteers could take them to the community that need them, the older folks that need them. And we're also seeing if we could get some like digital signs for the colony for the Burbank Avenue area, because there's a lot of like speeding and stuff going on out there. There's always like people racing up and down. Also, if we could get some digital signs on Highway 43 approaching the communities both directions, that way that could deter from traffic and speeding and all that stuff. And also, we were just wondering if we could get Mano Avenue repaved. It's the back of the Mexican colony from San Diego Street to Mano Avenue. It's been like neglected for years now, and it's impossible because there's a lot of potholes and different deteriorated edges and sections. So we're just seeing if we could get that worked on and stuff like that too as well. And thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. You have excellent advocacy. Your tone, your specifics, it's just right on. That's how you get things done. So
I just want to add, I'm sorry. I just want to add to what he said about our seniors. To get one of the senior boxes, they are offered 3 miles from us. A lot of our seniors are shut in. A lot of them don't drive. A lot of them don't have anybody to pick it up for them. So what we are seeking is that the truck bring the senior boxes to our community. We have volunteers that can put them on dollies and distribute them in our community. We have a lot of people. I can pick up as many as I can, and then I distribute whatever's in the boxes to other people that need them. But we have a dire need for that, for food equity that way. Thank you.
Well, you really are a center of influence in that community. How remarkable. Thank you for what you do. I mean it.
Hi, my name's Rosemary Cervantes, and I'm really nervous, so this is the first time.
You're with
I've ever
friends here, don't be. You're with friends, I promise.
As you've heard, a lot of our residents are indigent, they're, many are disabled, and a lot are in their 80s or over. And so we have need for home repair programs. Many of the residents need help in cleaning their yards and things, which our nonprofit has been doing. Also, houses being painted maybe to help it endure the weathering. A lot of them have roof problems and things like that. But on another note, also, we were hoping that the Kern County Library bookmobile could come out and make it easily accessible for the kids in the neighborhood. That way they could check out books and, activities and things like that. And also books for like our diverse population, like Spanish speakers. I think Doris spoke about the dust problem. We'd also are asking that we have the street sweeper come out, since we've been trying to clean the gutters, manually, but it'd be a lot easier if we had the street sweeper come out and help, sweep up the dirt and dust. I think that's it. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. My name is Carter Beardsley, C-A-R-T-E-R, Beardsley, like the school district. I want to start by thanking Supervisor Couch.
Oh, here we go.
I'm not sure for what, I just really felt left out.
He doesn't mind, apparently.
So I do have to say, first and foremost, I'm coming up here with a little bit of ignorance. I'm not sure if there's anything being allocated specifically for this issue, but this is a topic that I've done advocacy for over the past year, and so I wanted to bring it forward today. Kern County recently saw the highest rate of homeless youth across the state. That was a report that came out last month. In June, we have over 600 unaccompanied homeless youth across Kern County. But we also have some really, really awesome programs with regard to career technical education. And there's a really strong pipeline between homeless and foster youth and engagement in career technical education and success in not just academics, but also placement in the workforce. So homeless youth who are concentrated in CTE, which means that they go through a pretty extensive program and get a certification, something that you would see at like the ROC and CTEC campuses that you guys are probably all aware of. When they do that, 25% higher achievement in math, 19% higher achievement in English, 25% higher achievement in graduation rates, and 60% of the time within 2 quarters of graduation, they actually end up placed at a well-paying job. So the cool thing about this is that it's actually a way to, if we were able to fund sort of a pipeline, maybe with the employer's training resources, to kind of really engage more homeless and foster youth in our community with these CTE programs and with job training, it could create a really great pipeline to employment right after graduation. So.
Carter, thank you. I was stunned to learn some of the figures and numbers around foster youth, which is the lowest performing demographic in America.
Yep.
It is stunning, the tragedy that we see with so many foster youth, because within 4 years of aging out of the foster system, 50% are homeless.
Yeah.
50%. It's just astonishing. If we just could engage this population at an earlier stage with the job skills, as you've stated, and hope and TLC, we can prevent that. It is not complicated, but we have to be serious about it. We have to be focused about it and recognize this is an area of profound need and concern. And with people, young people like you advocating passionately and brilliantly, we can do it, Carter. It's totally within our power.
I appreciate
Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Couch.
Carter, if you could recall, is my appointment to the Housing Authority. I think the youngest in United States history. He is turning heads everywhere he goes. You see tonight a little bit of the reason why that, but his heart and the spirit of service that comes from his family, not just in his genes, but in how you have been taught what is important as a citizen of this great country and as a member of this community, that you owe this community something. With all that talent and brilliance, you do, and we're benefiting from you. And I appreciate you and Supervisor Couch. So thank you. Sir, good evening. Welcome.
Evening. Good evening, good evening. Bear with me, this is my first time. I'd like to speak up about some matters that I've personally put my hands on over the last 20 years or so. My name is Jermaine Rockmore, CEO of Rockmore Industries. I'm a local small business fire prevention company that serves the greater Kern County area and Bakersfield City. I'd like to bring to your attention, before there's fires, there's always fire prevention. And that's the role that my company plays for the county, and as an example. We currently contract with the county of Kern. I have a system that I built called Hood Verified. You have the flyer on that now. That system is something that I designed in the background while I was servicing the county buildings, paying attention to the need for fire prevention within our city. The job we do, we save the firemen. Not a lot of people can say that, but the truth is, if we go out and do our job every 90 days, NFPA 96 as required, the fire department won't have a fire to go to, and I'm okay with that, because if they get up on that roof doing their roof hops and things happen, none of us want to wake up and find a dead fireman in the morning. Does everybody second that? Okay, so Hood Verified. Rockmore Industries is respectfully submits a proposal for the countywide implementation of our fire prevention and environmental services, along with the pilot launch of our proprietary company, Hood Verified. A platform, a model, a tool designed to help Kern County streamline facility compliance, reduce fire risk, save taxpayer dollars. We currently provide the vital services of NFPA 96 compliance hood and exhaust cleaning, service and certification. We do commercial kitchen inspections, filters and maintenance. We also do for fire prevention and some suppression in areas of our business as well. And we also have a foot in environmental sanitation and compliance services. We're requesting of an approval of initiate 90-day Hood Verified pilot program across basically the entire county, which we currently serve, Tehachapi, Mojave, Lake Isabella. We go countywide to do this job, and so I have data on all your facilities in each one of your counties. I have on record every restaurant in this county, and I can tell you firsthand the inspections that I do, there's a fire waiting to happen in the better half of this county at any given time. There are restaurant owners that are coming from other countries that are not understanding the laws, and they're telling me we can't afford that service because that's not something that they want to require us. So they're kind of playing the system. I say this because 1,803 days ago, I had a client, 100 East North Roberts Lane. That client's name was Tom's Burgers. He was my client, and because of our cultural beliefs and differences, he felt he didn't need to get provided the fire cleaning service that we provide. And just November of 24, I paid a visit to the hospital, and God wanted my attention. And at that time I was visiting the hospital, he sat me down long enough to process everything that I've been doing. And at the same time, see breaking news that this restaurant was just on fire in the middle of the day. So if Tom's would have stayed on the program that he was supposed to be on per NFPA 96, that would have never happened, which wouldn't have required us to pay $1 billion for fire equipment and all these guys on scene having to do this. If these businesses are being held accountable, doing what they're supposed to be doing, they're not being held accountable. They have no sense of accountability. They're slipping through the cracks. And me being the small business, strong, empowered mind person that I am, I want to put up a good fight, but if you guys don't know where the secrets are being hidden from and the situations that are happening on the inside that's not allowing for the fire prevention to happen, that's what ultimately causes the damage in our communities. And I don't know about you, but I know that Lake Isabella can't afford a kitchen fire or a restaurant fire on a nice windy day, because that can result in a lot more damage per just in that restaurant. So like I said, We're a small business here in the community. We've been here rooted in this community since 1978. I'd like to say I've had a pretty good hand in helping this county grow, helping the fire service grow, helping the sheriff's department grow, supporting their operations, supporting the sheriffs, playing my little vigilante role. Most sheriffs know if they come in my neighborhood and there's anything going on, I'm gonna jump on them with the person because people are irate and they don't know how to act. I stand with our sheriff even though they don't often stand with me. And I say this in all respect. My daughter was abducted from school, and we had a home invasion, and all I got was a text message, hey, are you okay? So I continue to play cowboy quietly. I do my job, and I show up. But I would like to recognize and put it on the record that there is a small business here in this community trying to fight the good fight, doing the right thing, investing in this community, investing in the fire safety of our fire personnel, because again, we love seeing them in the $1 million fire trucks. But we'd like to also see more diversity in that area too, because it's been lacking a lot, and I've been paying attention to the numbers, but that's another discussion and another time.
Thank you for being a good neighbor.
Yes, always.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, welcome.
Hi,
Please state your name for the record. I know who you are, but.
my name's Karen Bassard. I am
Hi,
a
Karen.
19-year Kern County Legacy employee and a constituent of District 3. Since he's not here, kudos to Jeff Flores. He's awesome.
He just stepped out for a moment. He'll be right back.
He missed it. On May 13th, 2025, I listened to various county department heads and the county's assistant CAO talking about declining overtime, cuts to staffing, layoffs, salary freezes, and freezing COLAs to SEIU represented employees only. Since then, there have been several meetings in which the Board of Supervisors stated that the public has spoken regarding safety and homelessness, and they are top concerns per a survey that was emailed to Kern County residents. The Board of Supervisors is using Measure K monies to hire and retain safety employees and help with the homeless crisis. However, what the survey did not address was the struggle not only to the public, but your own employees face day to day. Housing and food insecurity, paying for essentials, electricity, gas, and child care costs, to name a few. My questions and statements are these. To the departments that are declining overtime, how far behind are they in meeting the public needs and the performance measures for government funding? This is counterintuitive and puts a delay to public services. It also puts employees in a worse state as employees depend on overtime to make ends meet. Cuts to staffing. The county has already deleted vacant SEIU representative positions. However, top-heavy positions have been added and retirees have been hired at their highest rate of pay. Layoffs. After retirees and extra help, layoffs are by seniority. The county will have to lay off almost half of their employees. Salary and COLA freezes. Employees are an ongoing expense. Without us, services could not be provided. Senate Bill 3, Section 3, Chapter 4, amended subsection 1182.12 in its entirety. Minimum wage would increase effectively January 1st, 2017, and every year after until minimum wage was adjusted to $15 on January 1st, 2023. Effective January 1st, 2024, the rate is adjusted annually for inflation based on the National Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. However, the minimum wage cannot be lowered even if there is a negative CPI, and the highest raise allowed in 1 year is 3.5%. Also, the governor will no longer be able to pause his scheduled increase, and the first adjusted increases may be accelerated if the adjusted CPI-W exceeds 7% in the first year. As Senate Bill 525, Chapter 890, Statutes of 2023, Senate Bill 828, Chapter 12, Statutes of 2024, and Senate Bill 159, Chapter 40, Statutes of 2024, adding sections 1182.15 and 1182.16 to the Labor Code, increasing minimum wage to workers in a healthcare setting. After adjusting to $25, healthcare minimum wage will be adjusted for inflation each year. Example, in 2023, CPI was 3.181% for the year 2024. Employees received a 2% COLA. Again, SEIU represented employees are directly impacted by these bills, has the county and departments not budgeted for these impacts. It's not like the big, beautiful bill. This has been ongoing. Chairwoman Perez stated during this meeting, $50 million has been invested in East Bakersfield after 10 years of neglect, and more work needs to be done. SEIU employees are already receiving the bare minimum compared to other employee groups. Employees are already heavily impacted by the county and union's negligence and the union's incompetence, and freezing salaries and COLAs won't stop the minimum wage from going up. The statements made by the department heads and the assistant CAO were not to scare employees. However, that is exactly what it did, especially to new hires. At the county's next job fair, will potential employees be told that they could potentially be laid off and not receive any salary increase? Public health is facing a $3.5 million deficit. Proposed cuts to services is immunizations, STD and pregnancy testing, and tuberculosis assessments, along with layoffs. This puts the public and your employees at risk. The county could easily fill this deficit since there is a $3.2 billion increase in value in assessed property. And finally, will the county be telling the deputies, attorneys, probation officers they will have to fill in by typing reports, preparing presentations, answering phone calls, filling potholes, and dealing with the public when they find out there's a delay in services? These employees are in almost every department, and each department is somehow tied to all the other departments. Roads need to be maintained, property assessed, mental and public health needs met, criminal justice, child support, conservators, etc., filing timely legal documents, and the list goes on and on. No one wants to hit a pothole, especially in a vehicle that costs more than $50,000, have their property improperly assessed, or votes counted incorrectly or lost. Kern County Schools saw an increase in English, 38.23% from 37.88%, and math, 22.74% to 21.26%. Achievement levels and a decrease in absenteeism, 35% from 24.4%. These gains could be lost if the child loses their housing and food that is offered through Kern County Services, as there may be a delay in services received. The proposed cuts in withholding monies to SEIU represented employees need to be withdrawn. The county and public need qualified staff to meet the needs of the public and support fellow employees. These employees may love their job, but love does not pay the bills. Your employees are struggling. Please consider using Measure K and unrestricted funds to help your employees meet the needs of the public and fellow employees. If California can see our value, so should you. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen, for all your advocacy. Appreciate you. Any other public comment tonight or comment regarding the budget? Now's the time to come forward. Good evening, welcome.
Hi,
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Robert Hooks, and I'm going to send some love to Supervisor Peters.
Okay, we're switching it up. Couch feels neglected.
And actually your team. I really do admire the process that you guys have.
Thank you.
You still have the opportunity to do the right thing. You mentioned shared priorities. You mentioned vital services priorities. I certainly hope no money is being spent on the baseless voter rolls complaints. I saw you guys had a contingency amount of $1 million, or election contingency amount for $1 million. I have no idea what that was for, but I know there's a lot of conversation around here about voter rolls, and it's literally baseless, and there's lots of noise and whatnot, and prioritizing vital services and other things really would be a high priority, a much higher priority than that. I don't know the detailed numbers, but the amounts and percentages that Omar mentioned are appalling and actually fairly consistent with a county that leans towards funding traditional infrastructure over social and human services. You can set an example for the Bakersfield City Council. So they have a similar process, runs a little quicker than you guys. And they literally made no changes to their budget after getting the public feedback. And worse yet, they had a nice presentation that said things like they're going to prioritize services for the homeless. But one of the slides that they ran by really quickly showed that they cut over 20% of the social and economic development fund for the city. So again, these are nice words, but then the reality just doesn't match it. And so I'm really asking you guys to open your thinking a bit and do the right thing here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, any other comments regarding the budget process? Please come on down. State your name for the record. Happy to hear from you. Can I just get a show of hands? Anybody else here to speak on the budget tonight? We also have tomorrow. Okay, we have one, it looks like one other. Okay, okay. We're getting towards the end here. Oh, no, sir, I didn't mean to interrupt you in any way, sir. Please don't interpret it that way. I'm just trying to get a show of hands and get a sense of what we're looking at.
Yeah, I was just going to say that if there's no one else, I would just like to take this opportunity to thank the board and particularly Supervisor Palier for your strong consideration of adding that swing set to Valley Acres Park. Thank you.
I know, right? Yeah, alive and well. Very good. And a reasonable request, Supervisor Parlier. I have a good feeling you can deliver on that. No pressure. Very, very well done to your constituents. Good evening and welcome. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Precious Henley. That's Henley. And I just barely decided to speak. I was just looking over your budget here. And first of all, I'm a caregiver. I work with the elderly and disabled here in Bakersfield. And I just wanted to say that I urge you all to, I was looking at the numbers on the budget and I see it's like for the aging and adult services, it's like the lowest amount. And these are like real people and real lives. And I really appreciate the fact that you do support that area a bit, you know? And like I said, I'm a caregiver. I've been a caregiver off and on since 2000. And I've worked different jobs before. I'm getting a little bit older or whatever, but this job is rewarding, it's needed. I know you guys have heard over the years the importance of helping people and people helping people, but these are real lives. My life is real as well. And as I get older, I'm just thinking like, they're always on the chopping block, and it's like, these are real people, real lives. They're people that just need that helping hand, you know. We're not always gonna be able to move about like we can. Car accidents happen, and a lot of things may happen to people in their lives. So the job is important just as well as being a nurse or a doctor, because they might need that, may not need that extensive care, but they just need a little bit of help. And it's really hard when you're alone and you don't have somebody to help you. I just want to say, like I said, I was looking at the numbers on the budget, and just, you know, I appreciate the support that we do get as caregivers from the county, but just think like sometimes we have to come down from up here and just think and just put yourself in the place of someone else and consider maybe giving a little bit more to that department for the elderly, disabled, and it's children and adults and aging people and elderly people. I mean, like from 83, 85, all the way down to some kids need help, and their parents are trying to work, and they need the help. So I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys, but just kind of consider that a little bit, because it's a real people and real lives. Thank you.
Precious, thank you for what you do for our
thank you.
constituents, members of this community. It's really hard work. Thank you. Thank you. Any other input on the budget process? We will have another budget hearing tomorrow, but it looks like we've come to the end of that, so we're going to close the public hearing. I want to thank you so much for being here, for all the passion and all the effective advocacy that we see going on here. We're listening to you. I promise you the staff is listening to you. I think we had an incredibly civil discourse this evening, and that is really promising. I think we can, you know, get so far when we communicate and collaborate this way. It's just so much more effective than fighting and blaming. Although, yeah, I understand there's a place for passion and criticism. I understand and appreciate that, but I felt the conversation tonight was incredibly constructive. And while Supervisor Couch received the lion's share of love, I think Supervisor Parlier, Supervisor Peters got a little, and so that's nice. So thank you. Any comments this evening from my colleagues? Okay. So nothing from my colleagues. I think entertain a motion at this time to receive and file.
So moved.
Thank you, Supervisor Couch.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay, wonderful. We're going to move to adjournment with a motion from Supervisor Flores.
Yes, motion.
Thank you. We have a motion from Supervisor Flores. We are adjourned. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m.